Welcome back to Forza Horizon 4, guys. In today's video, we're going to be talking all about a concept called Forza World. If you've been keeping up with the channel recently, last week or a couple of weeks ago now, you might have seen two interesting videos. One, covering Forza Horizon 4's second expansion, and two, covering the next Forza game. In those videos, I gave predictions, and I asked you guys what you guys thought, and well, you guys went absolutely crazy in the comments and came up with some very, very interesting things. One of those being Forza World. So before we do get into today's video, one, this video is not confirming anything about Forza. This is just a cool concept that you guys came up with, and I thought it was so cool, I wanted to make a video all about it. And two, if you don't use our Discord channel, you might have missed it, but we recently got some new merch. 2 snapbacks are now in the store. They ship anywhere in the world. Go check them out. Link is down below. Thank you to everybody who's already bought one of these. Seriously, it does mean a lot, so thank you. So let's get into this Forza World concept. Keep in mind, nothing of this is confirmed, like I was saying. So long story short, you guys were saying in the comments of the previous video that you would want to see Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport sort of go like this and mesh together. And that would be really, really cool. It would be taking all the free roam aspects of Forza Horizon and taking all the track racing stuff from Forza Motorsport and meshing them together. Would be super cool. So I'm gonna jump through a couple of different points here, and let's start it off with that first one, the world and the tracks. Although it would be really, really cool to take tracks directly from Forza Motorsport and just chuck them straight into Horizon, it wouldn't really make sense because the tracks in Forza Motorsport are scattered all throughout the world. However, if you've played Test Drive Unlimited 2 before and you've seen the racetracks in that actually had some racetracks from all over the world, except you might not have actually known about it. In Test Drive Unlimited 2, if you would go and explore the map, sometimes you would come across these racetracks with like curbs and stuff, and it looks super, super cool. However, a lot of those racetracks were actually racetracks in real life, but the game didn't say what they were, the game never referenced it. It just had a very, very similar layout. For example, in Test Drive Unlimited 2, you could find places like the Australia Grand Prix circuit, the Montreal Grand Prix circuit, the Monaco Grand Prix circuit. You could find Spa, Brands Hatch, and just a bunch of places around the map. So because Test Drive actually never referenced these places specifically, they could have one map and have tracks from all over the world. It was super cool, and nobody really batted an eye at it. If you knew, you knew, and if you didn't, you didn't. It was just as simple as that. It was cool. We've actually been asking for racetracks within the map in Forza Horizon for a very, very long time, but it creates problems because racetracks are actually much bigger than you might expect. Like, race around the map in Horizon 4, and you might find that you bang in certain lap times much quicker than some real racetracks, and it causes some issues just in terms of like the scale of the racetrack. However, if it is going to be a new Forza game, and if it is going to be on a new console, then who knows what the possibilities might be. Maybe they can make a map big enough. Who knows? We'll have to see. Anyways, let's move it along to something a little bit different that's not just about the world. Let's talk about the life that you're living. With Horizon, you're always told, oh, you're living the Horizon life. You're going around and you're experiencing these festivals and blah, 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 blah. And if you're playing motorsport, you're a motorsports driver. How cool would it be to go poof with those two as well? So here's actually a very cool concept that I thought up using like the features that are already in Horizon 4 and that would utilize the racetracks in the game. Say for example, you're just driving around in free roam, you come up to one of these race circuits and you see people ripping it around. This would be how you get into an online adventure. So you see these people ripping it around this racetrack, and then that will, like when you sign up for the event, that would put you in like the queue into the lobby while you wait for those guys to finish their race. Once they do finish their race, you get tossed into a free roam rush, which would essentially you driving from that racetrack to another racetrack. When you get to the next racetrack, you do a couple of laps, you rip it around, other people sign up, join you along in your racing series and stuff, then you do another free roam rush to your next racetrack, race around, free roam rush, blah, 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 blah. I think you see where this is going. I think a concept like that would give you a much more immersive feeling into the game and being like, oh, I can see people ripping it around. Although, even if it's like a totally scripted event with AI just ripping it around a circuit, showing up to a track and being like, oh, people are racing, I want to join that, would be super cool. You could do the exact same thing with street races, for example. Say you're driving around downtown, wherever the map takes place, at night, and you see like these cars parked up, and like there's like a street race going on. You rock up to the event, you sign up, and you start battling people in your illegal street races that are already in Horizon again. With street races like that, you could always implement the whole pink slip idea from the previous Forza games as well, which would be really, really cool. That was in Horizon 1 and Horizon 3, but for whatever reason, it was taken out in the most recent one. I think both of those things would immerse you into the motorsport life and like the journey that you would take from event to event and like driving around. I feel like it'd be super cool. Say, for example, though, you want even more of that immersive feeling. Say you take, say, the race suits or the race helmets that are already in both Forza Motorsport and Forza Horizon. Say you're just starting off, you have to show up to a store, you walk into the store, you go and pick out a race suit, a race helmet, gloves, and so on and so forth, and you can build your outfit, but it makes it a little bit more immersive because you actually have to go somewhere, maybe even pay credits for it, and buy a race suit that you really like. You could, of course, keep the exclusive, like, driver outfits or driver helmets or whatever you want to do locked to, like, events or championships or whatever, and that totally works, but going into a store to buy gear would be super, super cool. It could be the same thing with garages as well. Instead of just showing up to your house or the Horizon Festival, you would have to go to a garage to get your car tuned, upgraded, painted, so on and so forth, putting decals on. It would again take the experience from just rocking up to one sort of place to having to drive somewhere to get your car modified. I feel like it would be very, very cool. And again, put you more into that motorsport life. Like right now, Horizon actually does a really cool thing where you can do it at your house or the Horizon Festival, but you wouldn't really paint your car at your house or like swap your engine in your front yard or something like that. It would be cool to have like a proper shop that you would have to go to. Even if it was just like a garage door that you showed up to and then your car was like magically on a lift or something, and you just swapped parts on the way you do now. I feel like it'd be cool. Change it up a little bit. So then you might be saying, what exactly do your houses become? Well, I feel like your houses would be like PGR, if you've played that before, where you could see like between 4 to maybe like 12 of your cars, depending on how high a level your house is. And you'd be able to walk around your house, go exploring, showcase some of your favorite cars, and then you can invite other friends over to your house so they could check it out, check out your cars all lined up. I feel like it'd be really cool. So like a mix of PGR and test drive, that'd be awesome. And I know some of you guys are gonna ask about the concept of dealerships. Well, dealerships is actually an interesting one because of one, licenses. Manufacturers like Ferrari or Lamborghini, I would imagine, wouldn't be super happy sharing a dealership with one another. And then you have brands like, say, Zenvo or TVR or BAC, and you can't really just chuck all of those into their own dealership. So that kind of causes issues. Or if you have brands like Ford that have, I don't even know how many cars in the game, that would be a pretty big dealership. I don't really know what you would have to do with the idea of dealerships, but it would have to be some sort of catalog, I feel like they have now. But if you guys have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. But keep in mind, one, the license thing, and two, some car manufacturers, one, not being able to fill up dealerships, and some having way too many cars. I think there's something like 70 brands in Forza as well, so that would be a lot of dealerships. So I don't see that happening at any point in the future. And before I move on away from the idea of houses and walking around and showcasing your stuff, I feel like the idea of clubhouses would be super cool. So you know, all of you awesome people who are in one of the Era 12 clubs, thank you very much, by the way. How cool would it be if we had like a clubhouse and then like the leaders and like the co-leaders could like chuck some cars in there and you guys could walk around and see them? I feel like that would be pretty cool. I don't know, just fun little interactive things. I think it would be cool. Anyways, let's move away from the idea of walking around stuff and move more into how it would play. Because at the core, you're mixing Horizon and Motorsport, you need to figure out a physics system that would work. And I saw a lot of controversy in the comments of the previous video on this topic, actually. However, I feel like it's pretty straightforward that it would need to be definitely more on the Horizon side. One, if it's gonna be an open world game, you need some of the physics from Horizon to be able to handle that, like the off-roading, for example. And two, a game of this size and scale would have so many people playing it. You need it to be easy to pick up and play, and it's also can be hard to master, like Horizon is right now. Anybody can pick up Horizon and play around with it and have some fun with it, But if you want to be really, really fast, you still need to put in a lot of time. And then last and finally, let's talk about the seasons, because seasons are an awesome thing. They're in Forza Horizon 4 right now, and they are very, very cool, and I feel like they should carry over for every game that they implement from now on. However, please, 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 give us the option to enable the weather that we want in a private lobby. Anyways, I feel like this whole idea of Forza World would be super, super cool, meshing Horizon and Motorsport together, letting you live that motorsport life. However, let me know if I missed anything in the comments down below. If you wanted to live the life of a motorsport driver, what would you want to do? Try not to make it too far-fetched. Try to use things that are already in the game. Like I was saying, I was using Free Roam Rush and like races that are in the game and using Online Adventure, or taking the race suits and the helmets and the gloves and just putting them into a store and that you would have to go to instead of just winning them from like wheel spins. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Go check out the new snapbacks. Link is down below, and I will see you guys soon with some possible Forza Horizon 4 expansion news. See you guys then. Bye!